Hey guys, I'm Kevin,
I'm Jake.
and this is Movie Matters. Today we're talking about another sports movie, of course, Chariots of Fire from 1981. First time seeing it for both of us, right?
Yep.
I thought it was boring.
Yeah, same.
There's some great scenes in it, don't get me wrong, but it was kind of boring. And I have a feeling this episode's going to be kind of short. There's not a ton of trivia on it, and that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I mean it's a long movie. It feels long. It's 2 hours and 5 minutes for an '80s movie. That's pretty long, but that's not a long movie in general for the most part.
Yeah.
But this movie just feels long, and again, like there's scenes where I'm like, wow, this is a great scene. This is entertaining and I'm enjoying it, and then I'm just like, man, I don't give a shit at all, and I'm bored. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, like it's like a very well-made movie. I don't know if it's just like the subject matter is just not super enthralling,
Nah, yeah.
or what, but yeah, it was just like it it dragged and like felt like a 3 hour movie rather than a 2 hour movie. It's like at one point I don't remember why I had to go to the bathroom or something, but I paused it and I was like, oh my God, this is only 2 hours long. I was like, I feel like I've been watching this for like much longer.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like part of me wonders if it's just like I don't know how to describe this any other way, but like if it's just super British or something, like
Yeah. I think because it's not, and I mean, obviously we're from America. I think if it was a more American, Olympians, I think we'd be a little more invested. Say you switched it to Americans, I'd still be kind of bored, for sure. It just, we're not as like, there's not a lot of stakes,
yeah, right. And
It's
like
just supposed to be
that's
triumvirate.
like the point of the movie is that the two guys are trying to make the British Olympic team and then win at the Olympics. And like the Olympics portion of this movie is like extremely small. Like you would think that would be like the real like highlight of the movie and be like more than just like the last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean I mean it's definitely a like journey, kind of movie. Like they're
Yeah.
trying to show how these guys like, fought their way to, be the best, and all that stuff. But I mean, like we just watched Raging Bull, which is like the same storyline basically. And it's just far more compelling. And I mean, we talked a lot about Rocky, like another extremely compelling movie about somebody working their ass off to become the best,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you nailed it when you said like the stakes just aren't there.
Yeah.
Like I never felt watching this that like I was going to be devastated if they lost,
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, don't get me wrong. This is not a bad movie by any means.
Yeah,
it's a good movie, and it's very well made and it's very well acted. It's just slow,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have the like triumphant like excitement of he's gonna win, or it just doesn't have that for me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it does for maybe British people, for Britain. It's possible. For some of our viewers that are in the UK, let us know. We do have some. I know we have some.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be interesting. Comment on this episode and let us know. Like the one gentleman, Nick, who recommended the Beast of War. I believe he is based in the UK. And I looked on his letterbox, and he rated this a 5 out of 5. So, I mean, that might be our answer right there, which is fine.
Yeah.
I gave it a 3.5. I will never watch it again, to be honest. But it's entertaining. I'm glad I watched it because it's it's a well-known movie. I wouldn't say it's not well-known.
Mm-hmm.
It's the director's directorial debut, and he does a great job with it. Hugh Hudson. It's just the pacing is a little off. And again, maybe that's because nowadays we're used to a little bit more fast-paced pacing, but a lot of sports movies, you kind of have that slow burn.
Yeah, I think it depends. I feel like the slow burn is fine if there's a good payoff at the end.
Yes.
I feel like where this movie falls a little flat is the big win at the end just like isn't as like
exciting
climactic as it
Yeah.
should be. And like
Yeah.
it kind of sucks because you invested almost 2 hours, into the movie at that point, and you're like, oh, they win in slow motion, and you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
He throws the medal in his suitcase, and he's like, see ya, and just leaves.
Yeah.
Like, oh, all right. Like, cool.
I mean, I thought it was exciting with them winning, but it wasn't like super exciting. Like, oh yeah, they won. It's like, it's kind of given. Because it's based obviously on a true story.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just needed more impact. I mean, this movie was nominated for 7 Oscars. Best Picture, Best Screenplay, Best Costume Design, Best Music from Vangelis. It won for Best Picture. It won for Best Music. It won for Best Screenplay. It won for Best Costume Design. It won for all the ones I mentioned. It was nominated for more, like supporting actor and stuff like that, with Ian Holm, Ian Holm is a fucking national treasure. He's Ash in Alien. And, or no, not Ash. Is it Ash? Rook? He's Rook.
Rook, yeah.
Rook. I'll make sure on that real quick. But, I mean, this movie came out the same year Raiders of the Lost Ark did. And a lot of people think this movie stole the Oscar, like, from that because Raiders of the Lost Ark is obviously iconic. That movie should have won Best Picture. And this movie's like made for the Oscars, and I don't
it's kind of
like
an Oscar
those
bait movie.
Yeah, I don't like movies like that. Sometimes it's just like too hardcore. Like The King's Speech. I've never fucking seen that movie, and I probably should watch it.
I saw
but
it. I liked it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Okay.
Jeffrey Rush is really good in it.
yeah. He plays Ash and Rook. He is Ash. Rook, he was in Alien Romulus. I'm looking at Ian Holm.
That's right.
He is Ash in the first Alien, so I was right on both. But yeah, it feels very Oscar baity, and King's Speech. The Artist, I never saw that. Like the black and white movie, that looked fucking boring.
I don't even remember that one.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't
Exactly.
see it for sure.
Exactly. So that's the point. It's like this movie's kind of forgettable.
I think
however,
that's probably the best way to
put
describe it.
Yeah. I mean, this was the first non-American movie since 1968's Oliver to win Best Picture, which is crazy.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, I guess, again, that's another reason why British people probably like it more than us. Makes total sense.
Yeah. I mean, it is deserved for the soundtrack, though. I will say
the soundtrack.
that.
It makes me want to watch Blade Runner, to be honest. Every time the score would flare up, I was like, oh, Blade Runner. I literally, after the movie ended, I turned on the main titles to Blade Runner, like the song, and listened to it. I was like, this is so good. Vangelis won the Oscar for this, like I said. It's funny because this was shown in competition at the Cannes Film Festival, and it received a standing ovation. But the movie was like ridiculed by French critics because the French were called frogs in the movie and like,
Yeah.
unprincipled. So they were like pissed that they were like mocked in the movie. So they're like, "Yeah, this movie's a piece of shit. Fuck that," which is very fitting for the French, I feel like. But that's also hilarious. Like, I get it.
Yeah, I did find it particularly funny that the Americans are like the quote unquote villains in this movie. Like they're the, reigning champions of these, races, and that's who they're, primarily trying to beat in this Olympic Games. But yeah, they're like very amicable with the Americans, like when they get to the Olympics and stuff, and then they're just like shitting on the French like the whole time. Just super funny.
Yeah. Speaking of this being a long movie, I read that 40 minutes was cut from the
Holy
film
shit.
because on the recommendation of 20th Century Fox, who released the movie, they're like, "Yeah, you got to cut 40 minutes." Now imagine if this movie was 2 hours and 45 minutes, I would not be able to get through this.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, pretty aggressive.
Not unless there's like a gunfight in that 40 minutes or something.
This was the 7th most popular film at the box office in the U.S. and Canada in 1981. That's pretty impressive for how kind of dull it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the things
made
it
a
does
lot of
have,
money.
like it does have really good writing.
Yeah,
from like a
writing is
dialogue
great.
perspective, and the acting is extremely good.
Yeah, agreed.
The soundtrack is iconic.
Yep.
And like probably one of the first at least one of the first major movies to be scored by a like I don't know what you'd call it, like a synthesizer driven, soundtrack, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are a lot of things that are, I'd say, critically, well done with this movie. But yeah, I think for me, it's just the pacing issue and
Yeah. The climax.
the lack of payoff in the end.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, this movie made a shit ton of money, actually. It was a $5.5 million budget. It made almost $60 million worldwide, so it made a ton of money. But speaking of the soundtrack, the movie starts with the beach and them running on the beach and the song, and like I feel like that's what this movie is known for. And I had no idea it was like right in the beginning. I thought that was going to be the end and like, the climax of the movie of them. I mean, it is technically the end.
Yeah.
They bookend the movie
Bookended,
with two different scenes. But it was pretty interesting. I was like, oh shit, they're starting off with it right away and the iconic score. I was surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And then it literally it time shifts a little bit, this movie. Because it's bookended by a funeral as well, which is of Harold Abrams, which is interesting because he is Jewish, but he converted to Christianity, I read, in like 1936, and that's why he has an actual funeral at a church. It's pretty interesting, especially because like that's kind of that's not said in the movie, and it's also like a pretty decent plot point of him being like dealing with anti-Semitism and talking about his Judaism. And I like the scene, not to jump too far ahead, but like him dating Sybil, the actress, and him being like running as a kind of a coping mechanism or like a defense mechanism for being Jewish. It's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like they don't dive too much into it, but I thought that was interesting that they should have dove a little more into that, especially I think that could have been like a good plot like device and plot point throughout the whole movie, which it somewhat is, but it's not. The stakes aren't there, like we said, and like it could have been fine tuned a little bit better, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like both of Harold and I can't remember the other guy's name.
Eric.
both have a like religious
Yeah.
like reason for running. Like you just said, Harold is more doing it to like prove that he's not somehow like handicapped by being Jewish, in like some ways. And then Eric is running because he believes it's like his God-given purpose.
Yeah.
And like, they both struggle with their religious beliefs, throughout the movie, not necessarily personally, but from external forces.
Yeah.
Which is
like
interesting.
I like that whole plot point. And
Yeah.
again, it could have been a little bit better. A little bit better.
I feel like Eric's is more
Defined.
well defined and
Yeah.
like impactful, because they have that race where he's supposed to run on Sunday, and
Yeah.
they have to like reconfigure his schedule, to accommodate, which is kind of, it's interesting that like, and like that's his big, thing, is that like he's not willing to compromise his faith for the sport, but yeah, I feel like although Harold does encounter many moments of anti-Semitism, I feel like it's never like, maybe this is like the polite British society, like facade. Like it just never feels super impactful, which like I know kind of sounds shitty, but like it's just not like,
I agree
that there's not like a lot of meat there. I feel like
it should be a little bit more prominent. And granted, I mean, again, this is based on a true story, so I mean, film does take liberties, and we also could be like, oh, like we could be wrong, and they could be like, it didn't happen as aggressive as it could have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the whole contrasting religious aspects of both characters, and why they're doing it. And I like you brought up an excellent point on that. I like that. I mean, the movie takes place in like 4 different time periods. And like, I didn't realize that really. It was like 1919, 1923, and 1924, and then 1978 when they're at his funeral. Did you realize all those time jumps?
I didn't realize the span, but I realized that, like, I mean, it starts with college and then jumps, to like when he's, like professionally running, I guess.
True.
And then
that does make sense.
But they don't really
like
tell you though.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they give you a time stamp, like, but it's not super like in your face. So like we've jumped like 5-10 years or whatever, like
pretty interesting. I don't know. I saw that trivia and I was like, I don't remember it being like descriptive that it changed these years. I just didn't remember that.
I know.
Or maybe I just wasn't paying attention.
I'm pretty sure they tell you what year the Olympics is.
Yeah. Well, then it makes sense then if it's college and then it jumps right to the Olympics.
Yeah.
It's not right out of college.
You have to be paying attention, I think, to notice that it's 1919 to, whatever year
1923,
was.
Well, it's also possible I wasn't paying attention. I tried to on a lot of scenes. Like, I rewound like 4 times on certain scenes. I was just like, what the fuck's happening? I found myself doing that a couple times. And then I was just like, after doing that a few times, I was kind of done doing that. And I'm like, I'll just watch the rest of it and go from there.
Yeah, I fell asleep once for like a minute.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
There is
and it was still in the same scene, so I was like, I think I'm good.
Didn't miss much.
Yeah.
There is a cool cameo, and I don't know if you'll get this one, but the head porter, very blink and you miss it. The head porter that kind of checks them into school in the beginning.
Is
Aubrey and Harold. It's,
Yeah. It's I know him as the dad from Harry Potter, or not the dad, but the uncle from Harry Potter.
He's also Dr. Mannheim from The Naked Gun 2.5.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Right.
In the wheelchair and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really funny in that. So I was like, oh shit, it's him. I always like when that happens. I do like. So I thought this was a pretty cool piece of trivia. So Eric, the guy who plays Eric Liddell, Ian Charleson, his like speech that he gives when his character's first introduced to that working men's crowd. He actually like came up with that speech, which is really impressive. He was studying the Bible in preparation for the role, and the words that were scripted, he was just like, this doesn't feel like natural or real. And so they decided, they're like, Charleson, write your own words for this speech and present it. And like he did, and that became like a pretty iconic moment of the movie. It's pretty well known, that speech. It's inspiring, and he's like a good public speaker. And like there's that scene where he's there, the umbrellas and everyone's watching him, and they're all like in the rain. Like that was cool. Like I thought the cinematography in this movie was fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was not nominated for an Oscar for cinematography, which I was shocked. I was like, this. I mean, yeah, there's some boring shots, I guess you could say, but like other than that, it's a pretty well shot movie. And like the frame rates that the cameraman uses in like the beach scene and the scene with the montage of them training is great. Like I was just the camera work is awesome.
Yeah, like the slow motion is like very good.
Yeah.
Like it's not that like choppy bullshit, slow motion. It's
Yeah.
like, really well done. Yeah, it's surprising that it wasn't nominated for that for cinematography, because it's probably deserved.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked on that. And like I said, the frame rate, like the speeding up of like him running with the car in the background, of like them in the car while he's running and like training. I think it's both of them actually, like Harold and I think it's mainly Harold that in that scene with Musabini, Ian Holmes' character. That like frame rate is just so cool. I'm gonna double check. I'm pretty sure it wasn't nominated. I'm just gonna verify. And like I want to check. It did get nominated for film editing. I thought the editing was really good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and like the Sybil, Harold's wife, or like love interest in this. It's not necessarily his wife in this, but she's like the actress on stage, and she's singing that song "Three Little Maids from School, Are We?" And that's like in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like kind of like one of the theme songs.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and it plays all the time. So I was like hearing that, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's where it's from!" Like, or like
funny.
that's the song. I didn't know that, and I thought that was hilarious because I love Curb.
There was something else that it's like parodied in or something but I can't put my finger on what it was. It was kind of bugging me because I was like,
It's in Frasier, apparently. I think Frasier sings it, from what I read.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's in Cheers. It's in Cheers. Frasier sings it on Cheers. Excuse me.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what play that is, but I know it's like a pretty well-known play, even though neither of us know the name of it.
Yeah, I mean, I like the like friendly competition between Harold and Eric. They are like pretty good sports about it too. Like when Eric first goes up to Harold in like the locker room and is like, good luck, and Harold's kind of like trying to be the a tough guy in a sense, and he's like, well, may the best man win. But like their sportsmanship was good. But again, you get that training montage, which I love. That's always great in sports movies, especially like the Rocky movies. It's iconic in those. Yeah, I think Ian Holm is fantastic in this movie. He's always wearing a fucking hilarious hat. And like the scene where he is massaging Harold, I was like, that's the reason he got nominated for an Oscar. Like his technique looked pretty legit. It was pretty interesting. I was like, whoa, all right, that's an interesting scene. Yeah, and kind of going back to the whole like God wants Eric to run, like that's his gift. His conversation, I believe it's his sister Jenny.
Yeah.
Where he tells her, he's like, this is my gift. Like, I need to do this. Like, because she's all worried about his presence within the mission. Mm-hmm. And she kind of questions him and is like, what are you doing? Like, why is your head not in this? And he tells her, and that whole scene is great. I really enjoyed that scene. I think them winning at the end is kind of it's good. Like Abrams winning and crossing the finish line, and that's cool. And I love every time like Eric Liddell or Little, puts his head back and is running, and that's kind of like his like turn the boost on the nitrous. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it's a decent movie. Apparently, so what I read, and you kind of get the like epilogue at the end saying where every character is gone. Eric Liddell was born in China, which is pretty interesting, and he says that in the movie, because his parents were missionaries. He returns there, and that's kind of a plot point within the movie. He returns there after running in the Olympics. And during the Japanese occupation of China, he was taken into a Japanese internment camp, and he died of a brain tumor there just before the camp was liberated. And it doesn't tell you that in the end credits; just says he dies.
Yeah, it just
in World
he
War,
died.
like,
yeah,
like after right around World War and the ending of World War II. I mean, that's pretty. That's crazy. I didn't know he was in an internment camp.
Yeah,
I mean, that's sad. It's terrible.
It kind of sucks, but like it seems like he probably lived a pretty fulfilled life, so
yeah,
that's at least a good consolation.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's pretty much all I got in terms of trivia. Again, there wasn't much that I particularly found entertaining or important or pertinent to our our on this. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever watch this movie again. It's a good movie. Don't let our review of this sour the experience.
Yeah, if you thought this was like an unbelievable movie, then just ignore us.
Yeah, and it very well could be for those people, and that's totally fine. Your opinion is valid.
Yeah.
And I hope you understand ours if you do like it. Again, from an American perspective, I think our opinion makes sense. Again, it's not that we didn't like the movie. I enjoyed it.
I'm glad we watched it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, you're the one that suggested it too, so kudos to you.
Yeah, I mean, definitely even just from a like film appreciation standpoint, like
yeah,
it's absolutely a movie worth watching. It's just doesn't have the repeatability, that I think we both look for.
Yeah,
so
agreed. Yeah, rewatchability is not there for me.
Yeah.
And that's, again, I want to keep doing that as a review for the end of our episodes is, are we going to rewatch it again? Is the rewatchability there? I mean, we kind of talk about it in each of our episodes, but lately we've been talking about it more, and that helps with the rating for me. If I'm going to rewatch it, it'll make it higher, but that's why I gave it a 3.5. Like, it's a solid piece of cinema. I mean, it's an Oscar-winning movie, but it's one of those Oscar bait movies you watch once and you're like, all right, that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, some people probably love this movie, but I would bet you money that they've never seen it more than fucking 10 times. You know what I mean? Or 5 times even. I'd be curious to see, what the cutoff is for that.
Yeah. This is for sure I'm glad I watched it, but we'll probably never again kind of movie.
Agreed.
So, yeah. It is what it is,
Yeah. Agreed. So next week we got Over the Top with Stallone, which we both have never seen.
No.
And I'm stoked for that because it's probably going to be garbage. But a different kind of garbage.
I don't know what I thought Over the Top was about, but I got I
think it's arm wrestling.
Yeah, I was not prepared for that. So
yeah. So
now I'm like a little bit more excited to watch it.
Oh yeah. Hopefully
it's
next
probably
week.
Going to be terrible, but I mean, I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, it might be that 80s schlock that we like. Yeah. So, well, if you thought this movie was boring that we just watched and this episode was a little boring, we apologize. Hopefully next week will be a little better with Over the Top. Based on the name, we're hoping so. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, we'll catch you next week. Thanks for listening.
Yep, see ya.